Hello and welcome to this podcast. My name is Emma and this is mostly a knitting podcast, although today I have one sewing project to share with you. I hope today it's gonna be better with the camera because in the last episode I had some problem with the focus and I think I was too close to the camera and the background and too close to the background, and so in the background there was some dark spots and I think the camera was picking it up as some eyes, and so I hope today is gonna be better. I have the screen today which I didn't have last time, so I hope I can see if it's not in focus. And let's start with what I'm wearing. So this is my first finished object and this is the Tip Top Tank from Bolduan, and here it is. And I had already started it in the last episode and so I finished it. And this is a free pattern and it's a bottom-up construction, and I've made a lot of changes to the pattern. So first let me share the yarn. So I'm using Drops Bell. So this is a blend of cotton, viscose and linen. And I've been wearing it so much since I finished it. I love it. And so what am I defining? So the construction first is that it's bottom up. We start with one of the hems, front or back, whatever. Then the second one, and then we join in the round, and so we have this split hem. Then we have like 2 purl stitches here on the sides. It's design thing, and then we split for the arms and for the neck. I'm gonna try to remember everything that I changed, but the main thing that I changed is that I modified the depth of the v-neck, because we're supposed to start the armholes and the v-neck at the same time, but I thought that it would be too deep, so I started I split for the sleeves or for the armholes first, and then I started the decreases for the v-neck. That's not the first modification that I made, but it's okay, it's not gonna be in the right order. So I have all the information on my Ravelry page to know how many rows I did before I started the v-neck decreases. And another big modification that I made, and I'm quite happy with the depth of the v-neck. I feel that it's not just a summer project, that like a summer tank that I can wear just on holidays or at the beach or in my garden. I can wear it like everywhere and it's not too deep, so I like that. And the other modification that I made is that I added some short rows for bust shaping. So I tried that because I can't remember if it was because of a last project where I thought it would look better, but I added some short rows, so the front should like not be higher than the back and should sit at the same length, which is not the case. I didn't add enough short rows, but I was scared that I would add too many, so I think I added 8 short rows, which is really nice because otherwise it would have been too cropped at the front. So I'm glad I did that. I have to adjust the short rows that I make in the future projects in case I have to try and adjust them to see how many centimeters I want to add to the front. That's kind of how I calculated it, but I didn't want to have too many with too much length at the front. So yeah, and actually I think that's it. I didn't modify anything else. It's just that it doesn't really look like the same. It's a basic tank and tank top, and so yeah, I think that's it. And that's all I have to say. I want to knit a second one because I love it and I love wearing it. I thought it would be a bit too thick because this is a DK weight yarn, but it's okay. It's still breathy, and so it's still like large enough so it's not too warm. So that's it for this project. And the second finished object that I have is this one. And so this is the Oak Fork doll from Sandra Magalhães. I'm never sure how to pronounce it. I'm always pronouncing it the same way, but I'm not sure how it's the right way. Anyway, so this is a doll for my son, and I knit it with Drops Daisy. And I don't have the colorway in mind, but in my head, but I put it in my Ravelry page. And actually, everything is written. I have Ravelry pages for every project that I knit. So if you want to have more information, you can have a look at my project pages. And if there's still something missing that you would like to know, just put it in the comments so I can share more information with you. So this, I love this pattern. It was really easy to knit, and this is a pattern where you have two choices to knit it, either flat or in the round. I didn't read the pattern carefully, so I started the legs knitting flat, and then when I started the body I was like, we should be able to do this in the rounds. And I remembered that in most of her patterns there's an option to knit them flat or in the round, so I looked through the pattern and found that it was the second half that was explained to be knitted in the round. So I did the rest in the round. And so you knit all the pieces separately. So the two legs, the two arms, and then the body and the head together. And then you sew them together and stuff them. I stuff them with mostly wool, like some fleece that I had. And since I didn't have enough, I continued putting some bits of yarns, so woolen yarn, in the body, in the head, and in the arms, and it's very soft. And I didn't have enough, so I put some fabric, like shredded fabrics that I had from sewing projects, like some bits that I had in the legs, and it's a lot harder. But I didn't really mind, except that I like it a lot better for the body, so with wool. And then we embroider the eyes, and that's it. And it's naked because, I don't know, I put some clothes on it that I made specifically for this one, that I shared a few podcasts ago. And I don't know, when my son saw it with the clothes, he liked it better naked, so it's living naked. And yeah, I'm gonna make some more because my son's nanny wants to have some, so I'm gonna knit them for her, so you're gonna see more of this doll. And so I bought different colors, so that was the first one, but I already planned to make other ones for my son if he liked it, which he does, with different shades of brown. So I've got a dark brown and like different shades to this one, and this one is the lightest. So that's it. Oh, and the yarn peels a little bit, but it's been living everywhere around the house, in the bags, and so I can't say how it would peel for a garment, I'm not sure, but it does peel quite a bit. I don't know if you can see, maybe at the back. Yeah, and I would highly recommend this pattern. It's so easy to knit, and Sandra has so many garments available if you want to, not to have a naked doll, but with clothes. She has many clothes designs for this doll specifically, so the right size. So this is my last knitting project, and I only have one sewing project that is finished, and I'm going to show it really quickly. So it was a day where I wanted to have a very quick sewing project, like something rewarding and that I would wear, and I show you this fabric in my last episode, and I wanted to make the Danish shorts from Seamwork. But I wasn't sure about them. I wasn't sure how they would fit, and it's not exactly what I wanted. At that moment I wanted like really basic elastic shorts, and so I found a pattern from Rosery Apparel, I think. I'm gonna write it on the screen, and I made some shorts. And they're really basic. They're so easy to make, so quick to make. They have pockets. So I cut the pattern, I cut my pieces, I cut the smallest pieces, the smallest size. It was from size 4 to size 16, so I was like, it seems a little bit big for the size 4, but I'm gonna cut it. I cut it, I sewed everything, and it was huge. It was way too big for me, and I could have known, because when I cut the pieces, the pattern pieces and then the fabric, it looked way too big, and I was like, maybe it's just the seams, and I don't know, I just thought, oh, trust the pattern, it's gonna be okay. But no, I should have knitted a size 0, which didn't exist on this pattern, and so I undid all the seams and cut again. It was like going all the way up to here, even though it still looked a bit baggy. It was way too large, so even with a big elastic, I had way too much fabric around everything, around my waist, around my hips and my thighs. So I cut quite a lot of fabric and sewed everything again, and here they are. And I've been wearing them quite a lot. So since I cut the like you can see the pocket here that comes out, I should sew it inside so it wouldn't go out, but I don't really care. The good thing with that is that I realized I wouldn't wear this kind of fabric for pants or shorts, maybe for a skirt, but mostly I would wear it as a top or a dress. So that's a good thing. That I didn't make like really long shorts to make with the fabric that I wouldn't wear, and they really look like pajamas. Those are pajamas, pajamas design, but I thought that I could still wear them outside. I can't. Those are pajamas, but it's okay. I didn't have any pajamas shorts, so those are my first one, so it's perfect. And I love them. This is, I thought it was only linen, but it was very flowy too, and this is a blend of linen and viscose. There's a little bit of viscose in it. But I think it's mostly linen, so really nice to wear. And that's it for my finished objects. About my works in progress. I'm gonna start with the one that you've already seen if you watched the last episode. and here it is. This is the Cumulus blouse from Petiteknit, and I'm knitting it with drops brushed alpaca silk, like this. I don't have the color name, I can't remember it, but it's on my Rosery page. And I have 5 balls, and this is my 4th one for the sleeve, for the first sleeve. I think I'm halfway done with the first sleeve, and then I will need to finish the second one and finish the bottom. I still have like 5 centimeters left to knit, and then I'm gonna do the I-cord bind off. And so I already made the I-cord for the collar, which made the collar really like a lot smaller, which I didn't really expect. And I can't really try it on because there's a cable here which is not big enough to pass through my shoulders, but it's a lot higher than what I expected and that what I could see on the photos. And what I don't understand is that I photoed exactly the pattern. I know that my row gauge is a little bit shorter, so I need a bit more rows to achieve the gauge, so that's the first explanation, but not that short. And I specifically tried to make the pickup stitches quite loose so it wouldn't make the hole so much smaller, but it kind of did. So I don't know, if I make another one I will be I don't know, a bit careful about that to ensure I'll see how I wear it, if I like it or not, but I think I will have liked it better a bit deeper. But it's also okay like this, and I love the color. It's really warm. It's actually really, really warm, and also to knit it when I have it on my laps, it's too warm at the moment. So I have other projects too, and that's it. I don't have much more to say about this one. It's a really basic pattern. The next one that I have, I didn't start it last episode. And I think I showed the yarn as an acquisition last time. And so this is the Darjeeling blouse from Trust the Mojo. It's really hard to show. And I'm knitting it with Alfama from Rosários 4, and this is the yarn. And it's 100% linen. It's quite dry and a bit stiff when it's unwashed, but once it's washed, it's amazing. And I love it. I love linen. And so this is a bottom-up construction, and you start with, like, there are different options to start to cast on the stitches. I thought it would be a lot easier. I really don't recommend this pattern for a beginner. I didn't quite understand what we were doing at the beginning. So there is some lace at the beginning here, and it's not blocked yet, so, you know, lace unblocked doesn't look good. But we make this this edge here, which, you know, you make it, you have to knit, then you make this, you have to fold it, to fold this edge. And I didn't quite understand that we had to, I knew that we had to fold it, but I didn't know where. I didn't know if we had to make some provisional cast on for something, or I was quite unsure of what to do. And I think there could have been an easier way if you didn't want it to be so fiddly at the beginning. I don't want to say too much because this is it's not a free pattern, so I don't want to say too much about it, but I think that you can just start it with a long tail cast on and pick up the stitches from the cast on, if you don't want to have 2 sets of needles and to be too fiddly. But yeah, so we start with that, and then we knit until the underarms, then we put the stitches on hold, and then we start with the sleeves, both sleeves, bottom up, same constructions, and then we put everything together to knit them together. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to show it a little bit better to you, but it's a little bit hard to show, so I'm trying not to lose some stitches. Trying. But this is this, like, the side, it looks like this. And I do like it. One other thing with this pattern is that you have 3 length options: cropped, medium, or regular. I was aiming for the medium length because I'm not that tall, and I'm 1.60 m, so I'm more on the short part than tall, and so I was aiming for the medium version, but it was so hard to know how long it was, and she doesn't say, like, the designer doesn't say on her pattern, on her pattern page, which version she made, and it's quite hard to see because there are not a lot of photos. And what I saw on a lot of Rosery projects is that it was really, really cropped. So I went back to buy, so I needed 3 balls of yarns if I made the cropped version, then 4 or 5. So I went back to my local yarn store to buy a 5th ball of yarn because I wanted to make the long version. And I think it's still not going to be really long, and I thought it was really hard to choose, and you have to choose quite fast because, well, when you start the underarms, it's done. You can't go back to add more length, except if you cut through the fabric and add more length. And even with that, since you have the buttonholes made along the way, like I already have my buttonholes, it's quite hard to add some length afterwards. And yeah, that's something that you have to keep in mind if you want to make it. I think that even the medium version is quite cropped. I'll show it to you once it's done, what it looks like for the long version. Anyway, so now I'm at the point where I did all I'm starting the decrease for the v-neck, and here it is. It's here. I don't think I'm gonna be able to show it to you. I still want to show it to you. Like, I don't know if you can see it properly. It's quite hard to see. And yeah, and I think my gauge changed quite a little bit. I'm doing the smallest size, and I'm knitting it on 2.25mm needles, which is smaller than the recommended needles because I'm a loose knitter and my gauge was okay with those ones, but I'm knitting it tighter and I think it's a little bit too tight, but it's gonna be okay. And I'm still quite unsure about the buttons, so I'll see. And this is my 4th ball, and I still have a 5th one, so I think it was necessary to have 5 balls, and I think it's gonna be okay with 5. So that's it for this one. And then I have some slippers. So this is still a work in progress, and those are some slippers. So those are the double tøfler from Sandra's Garn, and this is for my son, and this is the smallest size, so it's 25-26, and I'm knitting him some slippers because he's going to school in September, so he needed some slippers for school. And I'm taking the yarn. So, whoopsie. So, in case you didn't see it, this is my 3rd pair that I made. I made 1 pair for myself, a 2nd pair for my dad, and this is my 3rd pair that I'm making. I lost some stitch marker, but I don't really need them anymore. So it looks like this. So as for the 2 other pairs that I made, I started here with Judy's Magic Cast On, instead of casting on with the long tail cast on and then sewing. And I made the recommended length here, so the right amount of rounds, then split for the 2 foot to fit. And this is the outside, this is the inside, so I made 1 more round for the outside and this recommended amount for the inside, so it can fit properly on the inside once it's felted. Haven't felted them yet because I'm gonna do both at the same time, and I wanted to make a little rainbow, so that's what I did here. My son was really happy to see them. He really liked them. He wanted to wear them, so he wore them a little bit, but they were too loose, so he couldn't keep them on. But I think he's gonna be cute in them. I'm just not sure how I'm going to make the right shape with them, because from the ones that I made for myself and for my dad, we put them on our feet while they were still a little bit damp, and I'm not sure my son will like that, so I'm not sure how I'm going to do it, because I want them to have the right shape of the foot, so I'll see. And I'm knitting the second one, so I'm only at the beginning. Same as for the 2 other pairs, I knit them with Alaska from, oh no, not for the first pair. Anyway, with Alaska from Drops, this is the colorway 73. I'll put everything in my Ravelry page, but those are the other colors that I'm using for the rainbow. And this one is the one that I had left from my dad's slippers. And I was supposed to knit 5. I knit his slippers with only 4, so I had a whole one left. And I think that's it. I don't have much else to say about this. And this, like in the next few days, we're gonna go to a shop, or I don't know where to find it. I think we can find it in a shop where they have lots of different like crafty things, to buy some like leather or faux leather to put on the sole part so it's not slippery. And I think that we're going to buy some elbow patches to put underneath. I'll update you on that when it's done. And it's really quick with this size. I thought that I would start them not at the end of August because I thought that I wanted to have enough time to finish them and not be in a rush, but it's really really quick to do from this size. And the last finished object, work in progress, sorry, that I have, I'm going to show it. I talked about this pattern in my last episode or the one before, that it was on my list, that I wanted to make it. I wasn't sure about the yarn or anything. Anyway, and it was on my wish list on Rosery, and one of you gifted it to me. So I think it's Anne. I'm not sure about with the username if it's Anne, but thank you, Anne, again. It was so lovely to receive this pattern and I was so happy. And so I went back to my yarn store and bought some yarn to make it. So I think I said it, I don't know if I said this, it's a Vilma top from Gregoria Fibers. I'm not sure I said it. Anyway, and I made a swatch with the same yarn but another color when I made my I made some pockets for my son's cardigan, and I used 2 strands, and so I knew I had the right gauge with 2 strands of this yarn. And I wanted to make it in beige, but I wasn't sure if I wanted to make it in beige, but I had already, I don't know, I had some plan to make the one from, what's the name again? I keep forgetting this name, but another one from Orlansuche, and it's already in beige and it's already a vest. So I thought, I'm gonna change the colors. I can't keep knitting, I can't knit everything in beige. So I got this one, and let me show you the tag. So this is Rosários 4 Douro. I don't know if it's making focus or not. And this is the colorway 3, and this is 100% wool. It's organic wool and it's Portuguese wool. It's Portuguese brand. It's the same brand as the Alfama from the Darjeeling blouse that I showed you. And I'll put it back inside, so I keep the tag. And I love it because it's like a bit heathered, it has a lot of different shades. It's brown, but it also has a bit of rust and yellow or green in it. I don't know how well you can see the shades of this yarn, but I think it's so beautiful. And I'm only at the beginning of this pattern, and so it's a bottom construction. And so there's a provisional cast on. It was the first time I think I made a provisional cast on, if I'm not mistaken. I think. But there's a video linked, so it was really easy. I just had to follow that. And I'm at the beginning. And so we don't start from the bottom completely. We start like in the pattern. I think I have the pattern page here. Let me show you. I usually don't print my patterns, but for this one I thought it would be easier. And so this is the pattern. And so I don't know if you can see, but we don't make this bottom part here, but we start just above it. I don't know why. I didn't read the rest of the pattern. I just followed the instructions step by step. And that's it. So I just made the first rows until I reach the lace part here, and the next row is the first lace row that I'm going to make. And so for the moment I only have these little bits here, and that's it. But I really like it, and I love this yarn. So it's on my long cable, and yeah, I didn't want to start it. I wanted to start it after I finished my Cumulus blouse, but I was too excited to start it. So, and since it's too warm to knit my Cumulus blouse, I started this one. So I don't have much to say about this one because I haven't knitted that far. But that's it for the works in progress. Now for the acquisitions. So I just have two, and let me get them. I'm coming back. So the first one that I have, I talked about it in the last episode because I saw this yarn last time that I filmed, and since I had to go back to my local yarn store anyway, I bought the two yarns that I saw. So the first one is this one, and this is 100% alpaca. It's a DK weight yarn, so I bought four of this one, and to make a jumper, but I don't have any pattern in mind. But there were four in the yarn store and she wouldn't get more, and so I knew it was enough to make a jumper for myself, so I bought it. But I don't really know because if I'm going to knit it alone or not, or combined with another strand of yarn, because alpaca is really soft and it's a bit heavy and soft, so I'm a bit afraid that it wouldn't hold, like if I make a garment with it, it wouldn't hold its shape really well. So I was wondering if I would add a strand of wool or silk, or I don't know, but something else with it to in order to keep the shape of the garment a bit better. But if you have any pattern in mind, I would love to hear your options or what you have, if you have any pattern in mind, because I looked through Rosery and I still didn't find anything. So yes, that was my first acquisition. And the second one, I also talked about it in the last episode because this is the second yarn, and I love everything about this. So this is lace or ultra lace, I'm not sure. This is 1,200 meters for 100 grams, and it's a blend of alpaca and linen. So I took a photo of it. Let me check. I can't remember the exact percentage. So this is 65% baby alpaca and 45%, no, not 45, and then 35% linen. And so I love like the feel of it and the color and everything. Like, I think it's gonna be gorgeous once it's knitted. So I think I already said it in the last episode, but I wasn't sure if I would knit it with another yarn and hold it single, so I have enough with one skein to make a whole jumper, or if I'm holding it triple, it makes a fingering weight yarn, and then I would need 3 skeins. So at the moment I only bought one. I have to choose what I'm going to make with it a bit, like I can't be too long because I don't think it's gonna be out of stock for like so fast, but in the yarn store, the owner told me that she wouldn't have more of this yarn, and they were, I think, 4 or 5 other skeins, so I was good. But yeah, I'm not sure. So I have to make, I bought it in order to be able to make some swatches, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to knit it alone or with another yarn. So that's next in my plans, to make some swatches with this yarn. And I wanted to say something about this, can't remember now. Oh yeah, I know, my ball winder is broken, so it's a Lieke, I think it's called the name, and I can't remember how it's called. So you've got this ball winder, so you've got the thing where you put the yarn and then you wind it on the side, and so in order to be able to make the winder where the yarn is turn, you have to have a rubber cord around, and it broke. I don't know if that happened to any of you, if you have this ball winder, but I was really disappointed. And it's not the only thing actually that is not really well made on this one, because it broke, like really broke. And also when you wind it, you've got this round, like flat wooden piece, and then you have this piece so you can hold it and turn it, and it keeps, I think it's not really well made because it keeps getting out, and so I have to reattach it every time. And I think it was how is it called, like it was glued underneath, yeah. And the other part where it holds the yarn coming from the, how is it called, where you put the skein, it keeps I don't have any words for this, but you have to screw it, I think it's called, and it keeps unscrewing. I'm not sure if I'm using the right words, but it keeps, yeah, unscrewing, I would say. So it's not really the best to like ball winder that exists, I think. And so I emailed the yarn store where I bought it. It's an online yarn store, and the lady was really kind, and she told me that they had some other problems with this brand, and so they stopped selling them, but that she would receive another rubber cord or thing, band, or and that she would send me a new one later, and anyway, when she receives them. Anyway, all this to say that at the moment I don't really have a ball winder anymore, so winding 1,200 meters by hand, I wasn't really keen on that. So I still didn't do it. But yeah, that was a really long story just to explain why I didn't wind it yet. But anyway, that's it for the acquisitions, and I hope that you enjoyed this podcast, this episode, and that you enjoy what you're knitting or sewing or crocheting or any craft that you're making. And I'll see you next time. Bye!